couple of the like clips on YouTube, and I'm like, this is terrible. Like, it's so bad.
It's awful.
The CG show was better, but at the same time, it's still not good.
No.
Like, so the CG show, like, the faces were like animated, and it's like Uncanny Valley to like the max. Like,
And like one of the things that's very weird about them too is that like in Thomas the Tank Engine, the faces are like they're
okay.
like.
So I do want to make this point. Thomas the Tank Engine, that has aged very well. Like, rewatching old, like, I mean, because that was like, as a young kid, that was like my jam, because I liked trains back in the day.
Yeah.
And like, because we had the whole train table set, and like
Yep.
we went to the movie,
Yes.
and it scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, me too. I had nightmares.
Because Diesel 10 was terrifying.
Diesel 10 was horrible.
And then I watch it now, and I'm like, I was scared of this.
Yeah, it's just like that video, that, what was it? Big Action Garage. It's just like that.
Yeah, we don't. But yeah. But Thomas, looking back at those episodes have aged very well.
Yeah.
JJ though, watching that again was like,
Well,
I liked this as a kid. Hey guys, and welcome back to the Gaming and Collecting Podcast. On this episode, me and Alex are going to be taking another blast to the past and taking another step away from gaming to talk about old TV shows that we watched back in the day. And we're honestly going to just kind of see how they've held up. Because honestly, looking at some of the screenshots and just other like clips I've seen, it's a bit debatable. So really, I'd like to ask the question. People usually say TV was better back in the day. But I pose the question, was it really? Let's find out. Well, anyways, guys, thanks once again for joining us as we discuss the games that shaped us, or I guess in this case, the TV shows we watched that also shaped us to a degree. It'll be interesting. So, how you been?
I'm so tired. As we were saying before this, I'm really tired today.
Well, that sounds like a you problem.
It's just been a long week. But I've also been on a diet, and I think because of that, it's just making me tired. And I miss bread. I miss bread.
Well, that's a you problem.
I miss bread. It's delicious. Okay. I can't eat bread. I can't eat sugar. All I can eat is celery and chicken.
Well, that's a you problem because you're making that choice. So
I want to not be obese anymore.
Oh, shut up.
I'm obese. My mom's gonna threaten to beat me after this. Every time I text her, I'm like, I'm obese. She'll go, I'll beat you.
Because you're being dramatic, just like your cat.
No, I'm not. She's not dramatic. And I'm not dramatic.
Yes.
I'm obese. I weigh 400 pounds.
Oh, no, you do not.
That's how I look.
She is so full of it right now. Let's move on from this because I'm tired of hearing about it.
Okay. I'm tired of my obesity, too.
So, at the time of recording, we're apparently all gonna die this weekend.
Oh, we are?
Yeah, there's gonna be a hurricane. We're all gonna die.
Oh, but I can't eat bread, so I'm gonna die double.
So at the time of this recording, at the time of this recording, there's like a hurricane coming up towards the New England area.
Yes. Henry, isn't it Henry? Or it's like
I don't know. I don't watch the news, so I don't really. I don't know. I just hear from what everyone else. But
Henry.
Yeah. So on my way home from work today, I went to get gas because my car was like got a quarter of the tank left, and I was like, whatever, I'll get it Friday like I usually do. And oh my god, people are acting like it's the fucking apocalypse.
Yep.
Like, I got to one gas station. Literally, every pump is taken. And there's, like, people with, like, 4 gas jugs. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? It's like, whenever people freak the fuck out like this, it never does anything. It always ends up being incredibly underwhelming. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. So you lose the power for a couple hours. Get over it. It's like...
No. I brought my laptop home because I'm like, if I don't bring it home, something will happen. But if I bring it home, nothing's going to happen. So I'm hoping that bringing my work laptop home will be an omen and nothing will happen. But
it's going to rain a little bit and be windy. That's it.
Yeah. But I'll be going... Well, I have to do my normal grocery shopping, so I'm going to go tomorrow. I'm waking up early to go. I'm going to wake up early to be, like, the first there, so I can just
I had to go to 3 different gas stations because it was that bad.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Like, the one was full, and then the one I went to that it was empty was because it only had super, and I'm like, I'm not paying, like, that much money for gas.
Yeah.
So I had to drive, like, halfway across town to get to this one gas station that was kind of expensive, but...
I know, and they hiked up the gas prices, too. Like...
Yep.
Because I'm like, oh, I hate that, but... What are we gonna do? Oh. Yep. Did you get your bread and milk?
No, because those are like the quickest things to go bad.
Yeah. But everyone buys them!
Because people are stupid these days.
Yep.
And that's life.
Yep. That is life.
But anyways, are you drinking anything this podcast or no?
I'm drinking from my water bottle because I can't have alcohol on my diet until like phase 3 or something. So I hate my life, but I don't want to be fat anymore. So
oh, shut it. But anyways, I'm drinking a ranch water. It is dripping wet because it is hot as fuck out right now.
And that's why you should take the AC unit and put it in your room. I'm not using it, so use it.
Yeah.
It will change your life.
Watch any anime this week?
Well, I told you about how I watched God of High School, but that was like last week. I've been watching... Well, there's new One Piece episodes coming out, but... So it's like, they came out so you could buy the episodes, but they're not coming out on Funimation until September. Ugh!
Oh, yeah, that's welcome to my world with buying the Blu-rays. It's like...
Yeah. It's just like,
a lot of this shit's out now.
Well, you can buy it digitally, so you can, like, buy it on, like, Amazon, but you can't watch it on Funimation.
Well,
it's like, why do I pay for the Funimation membership if I can't even watch it first? And it's done with Funimation! Sorry, I just got very angry.
It's alright, I'm still waiting for the final season of My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu, but that doesn't come out till next Tuesday, so...
Yeah.
But it's been dubbed for a while now. I'm just waiting for the Blu-ray to come out, because Sentai takes forever, but...
Yeah.
You know how it is.
I've been watching Black Clover. I started catching up to the new episodes on Funimation. But then I was like, well, I kind of want to, like, before I do this, I kind of want to go back. So I just started rewatching Black Clover to catch up. And, yeah, that's where I'm at right now because I tried something new, guys. I didn't just watch the same 2 shows over and over. I watched something new, God of High School, and that was good. But it was only 12, 13 episodes, so, you know, gotta...
Yep. No, so I haven't really been watching anything. I've actually... So at the start of the week, I had this, like, weird, like, hankering to play Doki Doki Literature Club again.
Ah.
The problem is, Doki Doki Literature Club, you play it once...
Mm-hmm.
You know what's gonna happen, so it kind of... I won't spoil it for, like, anyone who hasn't played it, even though it's, like, a couple-year-old game now, but,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've already played through it before, and I know what happens, so I was, like, I got into the mod scene.
Huh.
And I was, like, checking out all these different mods, and some of them are fascinating. Like, there's some really well-made, like, mods to that game.
Interesting.
So I've been playing this one called, like, it's like Doki Doki Blue Skies or whatever.
Yep.
It turns it into a regular visual novel.
Whew.
but it still like keeps in like all like the dark like psychological elements.
Yeah.
So, but it uses them in like a more like realistic kind of way. So it's actually it's interesting.
Whoa.
I'm playing that right now.
You just sounded like a robot. It was like that's what I just heard right now.
It's not gonna pick up in the recording because we record.
I wish it did.
Yeah, but we don't record via the service that we use to talk to each other. So. Okay, grape lady. But anyways, we do have. Speaking of awkward and. Speaking of awkward and annoying, we actually do have a topic for this episode.
We do?
Yes.
No, we don't.
So,
this podcast is just us yammering for 2 hours. No,
that's every podcast we do. But anyways, so you know how everyone always likes to say these days that TV was so much better back in like the 90s, when we were younger, because we're 90s kids, so that's the era we grew up in.
Yep.
And well, I'll agree to a point. Were the shows really that much better?
Nope.
So we're gonna move away from gaming to a degree, and we're gonna be actually talking about old TV shows that we experienced back in the day.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to have one exception. We're going to avoid any anime, because we've kind of already talked about that, and that's for a whole nother thing.
And that will be another podcast coming eventually. We'll do an anime.
We could probably do
12.
Too. We could do 12
We could probably just
anime.
do them as more shows come out, honestly. But this is not about anime.
No, this is about the other shows we watched growing up, because there was a lot of them, and a lot of them did not age well, as we've learned.
Nope.
So, honestly, we should probably start with, obviously, the show that started this entire idea. So, I haven't thought about this show in probably a decade and a half. But Alex all of a sudden randomly just sends me a picture of JJ the fucking jet plane, and she's like, "We should do a podcast about this." And I'm like, about JJ or about something else? And she's like, no, about old TV shows. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, why this one in particular? She's like, it's what came to mind.
It's because it's very cursed.
Well, no, you sent me the CGI show.
Yeah.
So which immediately made me think, this isn't even as bad as it got, because then there was the model.
I forgot about that.
Okay, so for those who don't know, JJ the Jet Plane was basically, it was a children's TV series, and it was basically trying to bank off the success of Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yes.
And but it was about planes instead.
Yeah.
And it originally started, like, the first, 10 or so episodes were, done in the same style with, models.
Yep.
But the models are, so
horrifying,
disturbing looking.
Horrifying.
So, when we started talking about this episode, I actually watched a couple of the shorts.
You watched JJ Chaplin?
Well, no, because I wanted to see how bad it was, because I don't remember. Yeah. So I found a couple of the clips on YouTube, and I'm like, this is terrible. It's so bad.
It's awful.
The CG show was better, but at the same time, it's still not good.
No.
So the CG show, the faces were animated, and it's uncanny valley to the max.
And one of the things that's very weird about them too is that in Thomas the Tank Engine, the faces are they're
okay. So I do want to make this point. Thomas the Tank Engine, that has aged very well.
Mm.
Rewatching old, because that was as a young kid, that was my jam, because I liked trains back in the day.
Yeah.
And because we had the whole train table set, and
Yep.
we went to the movie.
Yes.
And it scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, me too. I had nightmares. Because
Diesel 10 was terrifying.
Diesel 10 was horrible.
And then I watch it now, and I'm like, I was scared of this.
Yeah, it's just like that video. That what was it? Big Action Garage. It's just like that.
Yeah, we don't. But yeah. But Thomas, looking back at those episodes have aged very well.
Yeah.
JJ though, watching that again was like,
well,
I like this as a kid.
Well, I feel like one of the things that makes like JJ more disturbing, I guess you could say, is that like Thomas the Tank Engine, the faces, they don't look human, but JJ's are all human in skin color really and like very
humanoid faces.
It's this human face on a plane, and it's just that's why it's so like it's so cursed.
It's getting a reboot too. But apparently the reboot's going for a more cartoony style. It's not something I'm going to ever watch.
No.
I just found it fascinating doing the research. Like, oh, they're bringing this back.
Why? Yeah, no. I'm looking at pictures now. And, I hate
you know what the best too is? Some of the names are great. Like, you know the big jet plane, the silver one?
Yeah, what was his name?
His name was Big Jake.
Big Jake.
Big Jake. It's such a... And I don't know why that's so fitting, but my God. But yeah, so that was big in the 90s, and it ran till like the early 2000s, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but you know what's funny though? Thomas ended up going full CG eventually too. Like, but this was like into like, yeah, but this was like into the late 2000s. Like, they stayed models for a very long time.
Huh.
Like way after they were still going models way after we stopped watching it.
Yep.
But yeah, so that was like the catalyst, and immediately it opened kind of this floodgate of like, there was a lot of really cringy CGI TV series that came out during that time. Because you immediately, what was that one with the bugs that you?
I'm trying to remember the name. I'm brain farting on the name. I know as soon as I see it.
It was about a spider. That's all I remember.
No. Well, show about bugs for kids with creepy spider. I know what it is. As soon as I find it,
actually, I think you texted me the name.
Miss Spider Sunny Patch Friends. That's what it is.
You sent me a picture of that, and I did not know what it was, but I had vivid memories of it because you used to watch it all the time.
I love that show, except for the creepy ass spider. I don't know.
They're all creepy.
He wasn't in the episode as often. It was more about Miss Spider and her little friend.
You sent me some of those pictures, and my God.
I look for the especially cursed ones, though. But
that's some straight up nightmare fuel right there. Like, some of this crap is like,
Spiderous.
Kids enjoy this?
His name was Spiderous. I found it on the Sunny Patch Kids fandom page.
Of course that has a fandom page.
Oh, and he has a wife. His wife is Spindella. Oh, oh my God, she's worse. She's worse. You know what she looks like, though? Remember, the Powerpuff Girls villain? It was like Mr. Was it like the one that was red and like androgynous?
Oh, the one that I'm not really sure what was going on. Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's what Spiderous looks like.
Wonderful.
That's what his wife looks like. I'm not kidding. Oh my God,
Yeah, so that was.
We gotta bring this.
Was that
back.
based off a book or was that just a show?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Because you watched that.
All I know is that he was creepy. I don't think he was the villain. I think he was more just like the depressing character.
Yeah.
Like the realist. No. He was the Squidward, but horrifying.
Okay. I don't remember anything about it. I just remember the images were vivid. I remember those.
Yes.
It was probably something that when I was waiting to play video games again, you were watching.
I was watching Miss Spider's Sunny Patch Friends. Woo!
And meanwhile, I was probably sitting there going, "Can you watch Sailor Moon again? At least I could enjoy that." But back to there. So we're not really following any like order or anything. We're just kind of going off these randomly. But
yep.
To get at least a little gaming related, There's another wonderful CG series from the 90s.
Yes.
Do you remember the Donkey Kong Country TV series?
When you sent me a picture of that, I had no memories of that. I don't
No.
think I watched
Okay.
that. Maybe you did, but
You
I
did?
did not watch it.
You did? You probably just are too young
I
to
blocked it
remember.
out. I blocked it out.
So, there was back when Blockbuster Videos still existed.
Oh, okay.
We had one in our town. And there was a VHS tape that had like 5 of the episodes on it. And I remember renting it because I think Donkey Kong Country on the Game Boy Advance was out at this point. The remake.
Yep.
So probably around like 2001, 2002-ish.
Yes.
So I was big into Donkey Kong at the time because I love that game.
Mhm.
And I saw the Donkey Kong Country VHS tape. It was like Donkey Kong Country, Legend of the Crystal Coconuts.
Oh no.
And it was a VHS tape, so we still had to use VCRs and everything.
Yep.
And I remember getting it, and it was like this really ugly, it was like French animation, I believe, because all these CG shows were animated in France for some reason.
That's just where it was at.
I know. But what I always remember about this show was it kind of was just like random adventures of Donkey Kong and like Diddy.
Mhm.
And like Cranky was a mad scientist for no reason all the time, and like they were all trying to get this crystal coconut for some reason. But I always remember every episode had like all these songs like that would, because you remember every show back and they always had like songs,
Oh yeah.
like song interludes.
Yep.
And it was always like, okay. And I remember liking it as a kid, but I revisit it now and I'm like, this is terrible.
Why did I watch this?
And it went on a lot longer than I thought it did, because there's a good amount of episodes. Including there's like one where like King K. Rool like impersonates Donkey Kong and like basically just acts like an asshole to all the Kongs. So they throw him out of the village because they all think he's an ass for no reason and they like disown him.
Oh
Even
my
though he
goodness.
didn't do it. It was weird. But yeah, that was an experience and a half going back.
Yeah.
Now, what was another one that you remember vividly?
Roly poly oly.
Oh. Is it bad that I
Honestly-
don't...
You go.
Alright, so is it bad that I don't remember anything about the show, but I remember the theme song vividly?
Yes. No, that's not bad at all. Because honestly, it was just like... I don't want to say it was a show about nothing, because that makes it sound like it was about, like, Seinfeld. But it really was a show just about It was just, like, the daily lives of these little robot family. Well, not robot. These little roly-poly-olies. And it was... But they had a creepy grandpa.
So I do remember one episode, because I remember the TV movie for some reason, which
Oh.
was about, like, this evil space robot, pirate robot that came in.
Yep.
I remember that, but I don't remember anything else about it. I just remember that was a plot at one point. That and they ate human food.
Yes, they did eat human
That made
food.
no sense to me back in the... It doesn't make sense now, and it didn't make sense then.
Nope. And I remember the grandpa, like, being the only character that was, like, slightly horrifying. The rest were okay. But, like, grandpa's design...
I mean, it's
really...
old, like, it's old 90s CG, and it's early 2000s CG, and
Horrifying.
it doesn't hold up well.
horrifying.
Like, the only show I can think of from that era of CG that's decent looking was Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah, and that's not even that great when you
No,
look
and even
back
that
at
hasn't
it.
aged particularly well
It
either.
is
But
not I looked back the other day and I was like, wow, this looks
yeah,
horrible.
but at least it's tolerable.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's not like another one that from our childhood, the Butt Ugly Martians.
Yeah, what was that show? I
It was
remember that show.
It was like Power Rangers, kind of, but with 3 aliens that came in, and
Yeah.
it was very formulaic. I remember because it
Did
was
it have something to do with the crash test dummies, or was there another
no,
show
no,
that...
no. The Crash Test Dummies had a show.
Okay, I wasn't
They had
sure
like
if
2
that was
shows because they had an
related.
animated show way back. I think they had a CG show later on.
Yeah.
But
I thought that was I don't know why. Maybe it was on the same channel, and that's what I'm
no, I
thinking
don't, no,
of.
because Butt Ugly Martians was on Nickelodeon. Because I
Yeah.
remember it literally it was like a flash in the pan. It was there for like a couple months and then it was gone.
Yeah, rightfully so, though, because it was horrible. It like wasn't a good show. It like
No.
wasn't even enjoyable.
No, I don't even remember. I remember the theme song. 'Cause I remember the theme song was dumb, but
Yeah.
it's weird how you remember all these theme songs, but not
Oh,
the
yeah.
shows themselves.
Oh yeah, no, because Roly Poly I don't remember much, except I do remember like a leopard. There was like a Pot of Gold episode where they followed a rainbow, but that's all I remember. And
I remember the neighbors were from another planet that was like square, and they were like the square people
Yes.
in like the world of circle people,
yes,
and they couldn't make anything round. I remember that for some reason.
yeah, because he
Like,
had a square friend. His friend was square.
yeah, I don't know why I remember that. I can't. Ugh.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
because that was another one that you watched a lot.
Oh my god.
What?
I just was looking at an article with 90s TV shows, and the last one was Sonic the Hedgehog, and the image
Which one?
the
There's like 7.
Sonic Says one.
Oh, no, Adventures. Are you sure it's that one? Or are you sure, or is it 7?
I recognize the Eggman. Well, it doesn't matter. The gift they chose to use is Eggman sitting down at a piano bench, and he literally grabs his butt cheeks and.
Oh yeah,
blows
that's
it.
it. That's definitely AOSTH.
I
That
didn't
is
wanna
definitely
see
the
that.
Adventures.
I didn't want to see that.
That is definitely Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog.
It's very cursed.
I know it's not Sad AM because
It's so cursed. I
Alright,
can't look
Alex.
away.
Alex, you want to know it's all right? Just tab out. But anyways, you know what? You want to know it's more cursed.
Yes.
In that show, Eggman was voiced by Long John Baudere, like the famous like Snoopingus usual. I see like that voice.
Yep.
In Sad AM, he was voiced by Jim Cummins.
Oh
You know who else Jim Cummins voices?
no.
Winnie the Pooh Bear.
Oh no.
But the voices aren't even the same, like at all.
Oh, okay,
Like,
that's good.
you know Jim Cummins' voice because he voices like everything.
Yes.
Like he's done a ton of voices over the years. But yeah, the Eggman in Sad AM was a lot darker and a much more serious character. In AOSTH, he was for some reason he had a butt, and that was his big thing.
Yes. And they obviously show it.
Well, that show was a straight up comedy.
Yes. Another show I wanted to bring up as a kid. We didn't watch it that. I think I remember watching it like
Alright,
if
what
it
show
was
we getting
on TV. Caillou. Because Caillou is infamous for how
I know Caillou about
annoying he is.
I know it from memes. I don't remember anything. I remember it was being on. You watched it.
I remember watching it, and I remember being like, "Wow, this kid is like a little
When
shit."
I think of
like,
Caillou, I think of Alex. He grew up to become One Punch Man.
Ah, yes, Caillou, One
He's-
Punch Man.
That's like all I. That's like the only meme I know.
Oh my god. I just remember watching it as a kid and just being like, wow, like I would get yelled at if I did any of this. Like
That was like one of the many kids shows I watched. I never watched it, but that was one of the many kid shows that was on that I never got. I was like,
well, I think I watched it because a lot of the shows that I watched as a kid were just like we had child
So
like
we
settings
had-
for a while.
yeah,
So-
but we also had a schedule, a system where we'd switch between PBS,
Yes.
Nickelodeon,
Mm-hmm.
Cartoon Network, and Disney.
Yes.
Toon Disney. And we'd have like a phase for like each for like a while. Like we'd have like an extended period of nothing but Toon Disney.
Yep.
An extended period of nothing but Cartoon Network. An extended period of nothing but Nickelodeon.
Yes.
Keep in mind, anime was always kind of in between these things. Like that
Yes,
was its
but it
own
was a
separate
secret.
thing.
It was a secret.
Well, I knew you watched Sailor. No, here's the thing: you never watched Sailor Moon like on like Toonami.
No,
unless
yeah.
we were in a Cartoon Network phase, because that was the only time you'd ever see it.
Yeah.
But you had the VHS tapes and the DVDs and stuff.
Yeah, and that's how I'd watch it. We just rewatched the same exact.
I remember
ones.
because you had the finale. You had the finale to Super S on DVD for like years.
Yep.
But aside from that, another. So here's one that okay. So I sent you the picture jokingly,
Yes.
thinking like this show I don't remember being good. But then the show I'm talking
Oh.
about is dinosaurs.
No, I hate it. I hate how they look. They look horrible.
Okay. So after I sent you that picture, I had vague memories of the show.
Did you watch it?
Okay, so it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah. Oh god.
So I watched a couple episodes. It's a good show.
It's cursed looking. They look
okay.
cursed.
So it's honestly, yeah, it's a little uncanny nowadays. But to be honest, it's kind of impressive because that's not CG. Those are like puppets, like in model, like animatronics and stuff. Yep. And I watched a few episodes. It's like The Simpsons. Like it's a sitcom, an animated sitcom. Only they're dinosaurs in a human setting, kind of thing.
Yep.
But I watched like 3 or 4 episodes. I'm like, this is a good show. I'm like, and of course I watched. Dinosaurs nowadays is most well known for its incredibly dark ending, where they literally all die because the Ice Age happened. I watched that one.
It's accurate.
Yeah, but it's more. So the actual episode itself is a bit more self-aware because it was an environmental message. Because basically there's basically the plot point is there's like a annual like phenomenon of a bunch of these beetles will come and mate, and then they eat these this one kind of plant that tends to overgrow, but they don't come, and then they find out the evil corporation for the show, which the main character works for, built a wax fruit factory over their mating ground and extincted the beetles. So these plants are overgrowing now. So their solution is, rather than cut them away and deal with them normally, they just spray poison everywhere, and they kill all the vegetation on the continent.
Yep.
So their solution is, okay, we need rain. So let's drop a bunch of bombs in the volcanoes and get clouds to make rain. But instead it blocks out the sun and causes an ice age. But the final scene is literally the dad character, Earl Sinclair. He's literally just kind of, I think it's Earl anyways. He's basically like having to tell his kids,
we're gonna die.
I don't think we have much of a future. It's very dark, but I watched a bunch of episodes. It's actually a really good show.
Alright, maybe I'll give it another shot. I probably won't, though.
Once you get past the goofy animatronics, it's like The Simpsons. It's very aware, and there's a lot of jokes and stuff that you don't notice as a kid that as an adult you get.
Yes.
It's actually, give it a shot. It's actually really good.
Okay, I'll give it a shot. Maybe. Bill, do you remember?
That was a pleasant surprise. But I'm trying to think of one of the not so pleasant surprises.
Oh, well, I have one that I think was pleasant, but I don't remember much. Do you remember Gullah Gullah Island?
Describe it.
So it was this live action show, but there was this guy in a big yellow frog suit.
I have no recollection of this.
You don't remember Gullah Gullah Island?
No.
It was oh my god, maybe if I sent you a picture. I'm going to send you a picture in the break, when we do the break, and then we'll bring back Gullah Gullah Island. But it was
that's a good timing, because we should take our break now.
So, okay.
Anyways, guys, we'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Woo! Stop.
And we're back.
So Bill didn't remember Gullah Gullah Island.
No, I don't.
I'm offended.
I looked it up. She showed me the intro, and I have no recollection of that. If anything, it just made me uncomfortable, because I'm like, what is this?
So, basically, Gullah Gullah Island was a show about this family that lived on an island with this giant frog. It was kind of like a Barney costume.
Yeah,
frog.
I got Barney vibes.
It was a Barney show, but instead of dinosaur Barney, it was a big old yellow frog with polka dots, and I distinctly remember him from my childhood. I loved Gullah Gullah Island. It was a Nickelodeon show. It was, was Barney like Disney? What was Barney?
I don't know.
I'm just wondering, because this was Nickelodeon, so it was was Barney Disney and was Gullah Gullah Island, Nickelodeon, and they were.
I don't think Barney was Disney, but
No.
I don't really know.
Or PBS probably. But anyways,
It was definitely PBS. I
Gullah
think.
Gullah Island was a wonderful show, and I'm ashamed you don't remember it. So,
It was PBS. Yeah.
but
Wow, that ran to 2000. Yeah. Anyways, aside from that,
but another live action TV show that I distinctly remember as a kid was The Big Comfy Couch,
okay.
and
So
Bill
I
remembered it too.
No, I remembered the images of it. I don't remember anything about the show. I just
Me
remember
either.
No? Well, I was just shocked because I didn't realize the main character in the show is Allison Court, who would later be very well known as the voice of Claire Redfield in Resident Evil.
Yep.
And she'd also be famous for her husband at the time was a huge Guns N' Roses fan.
Yeah.
And she was part of the localization team of Mega Man X5. So that's why all the Mavericks in X5 are named after Guns N' Roses are named after the members of Guns N' Roses.
That's hilarious.
And she is the reason why we got the majesty of Duff McWhalen.
Well, you should
But
be
yeah.
grateful for the big
But
comfy couch then.
I was shocked when I looked that up, and that was the first I saw Allison Court. I was like, Allison Court? Wait a minute.
Well, the whole show was just like she had a big comfy couch and she sat there and she had a little puppet that was like a little mini her, and I think that was the most of the show. But she also had a friend who had red hair and they all had clown noses too.
I can tell.
I don't remember the red-haired guy's name. But I remember she had like this iconic thing where like she had a clock rug and she would like move her legs for the clock as a stretch, and I found the video and I sent it to Bill and I was like, I have distinct memories of this. And
I remember you watching it. This was one of those cases where... See, this is one of the cases where I'd pull out the Game Boy.
yeah. I
'Cause that was
love
the
the
only
big
entertainment
comfy couch. It was such a cute show. Oh my god, someone made it in Animal Crossing. That's adorable.
Everything's in Animal Crossing these days.
Oh, I loved that.
No.
Oh no. Oh no.
No, you're going too far.
No!
You're going too far.
I
Get off
barely
Google.
I literally, all I did was scroll down a little and there was porn of it. Why?
You've gone too far. You can't...
The
you have
big
to be
comfy
careful.
couch was something I watched as like a toddler. No! My life is over. I hate everything.
Alex,
I quit. I quit the podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
The internet ruins everything.
It does.
You have to be
does.
careful. That's why you don't type Sonic and Shadow on Google.
But Bill, I scrolled down like once
Yes.
on the page and it was there and it's cursed.
Yes.
Who did
Yes.
that? No.
Type in any anime, like, girl character and scroll down and you'll see some horrifying shit.
Oh
So
my
it's-
god. I forgot about these. This is also the big comfy couch. They had these two characters called the Dust Bunnies.
Okay.
They're these little puppet dust balls with bunny ears, and they're a little cursed looking, I have to say. I remember
Yep.
them because I think all they did was go like, ah, ah, ah. Like, I don't think they actually spoke. I think they just made like little pterodactyl noises.
You'd know more than I would, because
I'm pretty certain they made just little pterodactyl.
I have borderline no memory other than vague. So.
Well, the dust bunnies are very cursed looking, and
So
they made pterodactyl
going back
noises.
now going back to more other shows.
Yes.
Oh, do you remember? Okay, so you remember back how before Nickelodeon absorbed them, there was that other kids channel like Noggin or whatever, which I think was like a Canadian channel.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you remember the show that was the hands with googly eyes?
Oh my god! I need to look that up. Hand with.
I
know
forget what it was.
I think it was
but
called
I
like
remember this
Nugan or
vividly
something.
because it would always. So before Nickelodeon basically just absorbed Noggin, there was another
Oobi!
channel.
Oobi!
Yeah, that. Yeah, there was an entire show where it was literally just hands with googly eyes, and that was the entire show. And I always remember being like, "What the hell is this?" Even as a kid, I didn't get it. I was always. It made great It made great YouTube poop material. That's for sure.
It sure did. Ooby. Oh, Bill, do you want to buy? You can buy little ring that has guys, and then you can be Ooby. You want to be Ooby?
I'm good.
That you can cosplay as Ooby.
I have a cosplay plan for coming up with that.
Well,
we'll
a future one, a future cosplay. You just go to a con and be like, "Hi, I'm Ooby."
Yeah, and then the security will take me away because they'll think I'm a psycho.
And then you'll just be like, "No, look, it's Ooby." One of the characters wears a hat, so you can put that on.
It's funny because after Nickelodeon absorbed Noggin, it just kind of became a Nick Jr. show. Oh, I remember that because it got replaced by the N, which was like the N was like the Nick at Night version of Noggin, and then
it was like Noggin logo was like the face, and it had a moose and a bird that popped out.
Yeah, and they had their own version of Nick at Night. It was called the N, and then they both got when Nickelodeon I guess Viacom straight up absorbed them. They just kind of merged Noggin into Nick Jr. and then the N into Nick at Night.
Oh my god, I didn't realize how many were on Noggin. Well, because I'm looking now, and it's like, remember, what's it called? The one with, like, the duck and, like, a hamster and a turtle, and they were, like, the Wonder Pets! Do you remember the Wonder Pets?
Yeah, I vaguely remember that. It wasn't something that was something you watched.
I think a lot of these were, like, I watched, and also, I think a lot of what I watched came down to who had TV, who had the TV time. Because I feel like I got the shit time, and I got all the shit shows, and you got all the good shit.
No. Here's the thing, Alex.
I like how I just said like shit 50 times after talking about the Wonder Pets. I just wanted to.
Here's the thing, Alex.
No.
By that point in time, I stopped watching TV, and I was only playing video games.
True.
So, I wasn't watching a lot of shows. You just were watching whatever was on. So.
Bill, do you remember Franklin?
The turtle?
Yeah. That was a cute show. Wasn't there books too?
Probably. I don't remember much of it. I remember that one.
Yeah.
That one doesn't give me like PTSD, so I'm assuming that one was a good kid show.
It was a good kid show.
Do you remember? Okay, so we went. I mentioned earlier we went through like weird phases where we'd be watching like Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network. Do you remember like Nickelodeon, the Oh Yeah cartoons?
Yeah, I think so.
Where it was like a bunch of pilots and like shorts for like shows that weren't quite like they weren't like main shows, but they were like it was like a bunch of shorts.
Well, it was kind of like how it was kind of how some of them could get piloted, right? Like because that's how like Fairly
That's what
Odd
I believe
Parents,
its intention. Yeah, because Fairly Odd Parents was on there.
My Life as a Teenage Robot.
Yeah, those are the two I remember distinctly. I think Chalk Zone was on there too.
Oh yeah, Chalk Zone definitely was.
Because Cartoon Network had a similar show, but I can't remember the name because we were more Nickelodeon kids growing up. We Cartoon Network we kind of got into later on. But yeah, because we weren't allowed to watch Cartoon Network for some reason.
No.
I remember that distinctly. Except for Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah.
And Toonami. And Toonami, ironically. Yeah, we weren't allowed to watch Dexter's Lab, but we could watch Toonami.
Well, didn't we, we used to be able to, and didn't, we get in trouble? Like, we watched Dexter's Lab.
I don't remember.
I remember getting in trouble for some reason. I don't know why, but maybe we imitated something on the show. I don't know.
That was way too long ago. I don't remember.
Yeah.
All I know is there was a point where we weren't allowed to watch Cartoon Network anymore, but we could still watch Toonami because the violent anime was okay, but not the cartoons.
But I think that was more Mom didn't really know what it was. One of those.
I don't think Mom knew what anime was. Mom didn't know what anime was at the time.
Oh my goodness!
Wow. But yeah, so we were mostly Nickelodeon kids.
Yes,
and I distinctly remember old school Nickelodeon is still one of the greatest eras in cartoons.
Oh yeah, it has some of the.
Because I still remember early Nickelodeon, but before me and Alex's time, was really weird. But around when we were kids, there was the big four. There was Rugrats, Hey Arnold.
Yep.
Rocko's Modern Life.
Yep.
And Our Real Monsters.
Yes.
Like those were like the big four, and then eventually like you got like more of the like the Klatsky Kupsko like shows. Like you got Wild Thornberries,
Yes.
and then As Told by Ginger. That show was weird.
That was a weird show. Well, honestly, I think it wasn't weird. I just think we were too young and we didn't get it.
No, I've rewatched it recently, and I'm like just for curiosity's sake, and I'm like, yeah, this show was weird.
Well, you know what?
Like, there was a lot of odd topics in that show that for kids I a little early.
You know what show we didn't bring up? That was a great Nickelodeon show.
Which one?
Cat Dog.
Okay, here's my thing with Cat Dog.
Cat Dog. Cat Dog.
Cat Dog.
Okay. The Cat Dog.
Besides the theme song, Cat Dog really, I don't know. Cat Dog doesn't do it for me anymore.
Are you dissing Cat Dog?
Yes, I am, because I'm gonna say this now. It's not a pleasant show.
It was a great show.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Every episode ends with them getting the shit kicked out of them.
Yeah, because they were assholes.
No, a lot of times they weren't. They were just trying to mind their own business half the time. Cat just wanted to be left alone, and Dog was just being Dog.
Exactly, because that is very cat-like.
And half the time they would just get the shit kicked out of them for no reason, and it'd be like, this show isn't pleasant. It's like.
Oh my god!
Oh, and then the frickin' Cop Out, the big movie, where it was like, oh, we're gonna find their parents, and then it's like, oh yeah, their parents. Oh yeah, we just found you in a ditch. Yeah, we're not actually your parents. And it's like, great.
Great.
What a movie.
We'll never know who birthed Cat Dog.
No.
Oh my god!
What?
Do you remember Bear in the Big Blue House?
I remember.
It was like a
vaguely.
puppet.
I remember he was always I remember him sniffing shit all the time.
Funny story. I remember Bear in the Big Blue House because I believe I had a dance as a kid, and it was to the Bear in the Big Blue House theme. I'm pretty certain I had a blue costume, and I did a dance, and it was to like some song with Bear in the Big Blue House, and that's my distinct memory of that.
Interesting. I remember it vaguely, but I can't tell you anything about it. That was another one of the live action ones with the guy in the costume, right?
Yes. Oh my
Okay.
god. Do you remember the show? It was Between the Lions.
No.
It was a family.
I'm gonna
It
have to
was
look
one
this
of
one up.
those educational. It was an educate. We watched a lot of educational shows too.
Well, no, we watched a lot of Nick Jr. because that's all that was on at the time.
Well, this was Between the Lions was a family of lions, and I think it was focused around like they lived in like a library. I'm pretty certain, but I have
Oh, it popped
distinct
up.
memories.
It popped up. Wikipedia is not helpful.
Just look at the images.
Oh. No, I don't remember this.
You don't remember Between the
No.
Lions? I think I might have watched it in school because I think it was an educational show.
Yeah, I don't remember this at all.
I'm gonna look up 90s educational because I feel like that's the real gold mine.
So I was thinking of a different show for some reason, but I can't think of the name. Wow, it went on for a while.
Yeah.
Like 10 years. It ran for 10 years. Oh,
it
it's
was
a
a
PBS.
good show. It
See,
was a PBS.
I don't have a lot of memories of PBS.
I watched
only
a lot.
remember. Yeah, but I only remember like Arthur and like.
Arthur!
Barney.
Oh my god. Remember the Jekyll and Hyde episode?
Arthur got dark and very meta. Oh yeah. Also, did I tell you? I was digging through storage and I found a bunch of old PS1 games and I found the Arthur game for PS1.
Oh my god. Was it a racing game? The racing game. Yes.
Yeah, it was a quote unquote racing game. You couldn't lose the races.
Yes.
At least I don't think you could. If 8-year-old me could always win the races, I'm pretty sure you couldn't lose them. So.
Okay. Oh my god.
But yeah, I found that. Yeah, Arthur's held up well. I'll give it credit. It's not something I'd watch now, but
Well, no, yeah. I wouldn't watch
that show got dark sometimes.
I think Arthur got canceled recently. Like it finally
Yeah, I think-
got
I-
off the
I think-
air recently,
I think PBS finally pulled the plug.
which is crazy to me.
But something tells me that's a 2020 reason. It's like 2020 reasons.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, most of my memories though from that era, like definitely Nickelodeon.
Yes.
Like I have distinct memories of Rocco's Modern Life is one of like the most that show like made YouTube poops.
Yep. It's
Wacky
so,
Deli.
It's so funny how like you remember so much from Nickelodeon and I remember so much from PBS Kids.
Well, here's the thing. When I was watching TV, it was always Nickelodeon because like obviously like Rugrats were always on. I remember we went to see the movie in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
And back then, when we were that young, it was very hard to stay like paying attention for an entire movie.
Yes.
Because kids are kids.
Exactly.
But I always remember the birth scene in the movie because it was like it was like a psychedelic like drug trip, and I was always like, what?
Oh.
I remember, actually, no, we saw all 3 Rugrats movies in the theater, now that I think about it.
Oh, yeah!
Because we saw In Paris, and we saw Go Wild, which is
Yes.
the crossover with
the Wild Thornberrys.
Wild Thornberrys. The Wild Thornberrys is a weird show, because I don't think... We saw that movie in theaters, too. And Hey Arnold. Yes. You're waving about something.
Do you remember Maggie and the Ferocious Beast?
I do, but I couldn't tell you anything about it.
I don't remember anything about it either, but I just remember good old Maggie and a ferocious beast.
I remember the beast, like, his image popped into my head, like yellow with red polka dots.
With red polka dots, yep, and he has
that
the
popped
little
into my
horns.
head. But I could not tell you. Wasn't there a pig guy too?
Yeah, there's a pig, and he wore a shirt that
and he was the typical
like
Debbie
timid,
Downer, like
yeah.
always like the ruin the fun guy. That was him, because every show back then always had the main 2, and then there was always the Debbie Downer, like we can't stop having fun guys, like that character.
It was the little description is Maggie's imaginary world, wisely known as Nowhere Land. So, that was a... Oh, okay, it was like an imagination show where she was imagining everything. I didn't realize that. I thought the Beast was
I didn't
real.
either.
I'm a little upset now. The Beast should be real. What the hell? It's just
think
like
that's
Gullah Gullah Island. It's just this big old beast.
Creepy frog jumping around, yeah.
Okay, I need to go back to Bear in the Big Blue House for a second to make a point to talk about the creepy ass moon.
Okay, I have to look this up now.
I didn't remember it, but I see a picture of it, and that moon kind of frightens me. And it kind of looks like Thomas if he was a little stoned. And that's weird. And I hate it.
Okay.
I hate everything about it.
Okay, so there's a page dedicated to the moon. Oh dear.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Doesn't it kind of look like Thomas if he was stoned?
That's straight up nightmare fuel right there.
It's very.
Like, that's.
I did not remember that. I blocked it out of my brain.
That's gonna be in the That's gonna be in the thumbnail for this episode.
Good. Pick all the
Oh, dear.
cursed images. Please pick a picture of JJ Jet Plane too.
I'll find something. I'm.
Oh,
yeah,
and
that's,
Ubi. Ubi's gotta be there.
ugh. I'll think of something. That's gonna take me a little bit.
I feel like you're remembering all the good shows, and I'm remembering all the cursed.
Because I didn't watch them.
Did you
If I
watch
didn't like-
Oswald? Did you watch Oswald?
What was that about?
The little blue octopus.
I remember
And
you.
he had a hot dog as his pet.
Didn't he have a little bowler like on his
Yeah,
head?
he had a little black bowler.
Yeah, that's all I remember.
It was in this weird Oswald. That was a good. It was about a happy octopus with a pet hot dog.
Oh yeah. So going back to Nickelodeon, because Nickelodeon was probably the era I remember the most.
Yeah.
So obviously, like, there was the main original, like the classic Nicktoons, and then we started getting like. So the late '90s obviously was the introduction of SpongeBob.
Yes.
Which was a phenomenon.
Yes.
And I still say to this day, the first 4, everything before the first movie, is still like classic. Like, I don't even care about SpongeBob that much, like nowadays.
No,
and I
me
can
either.
still go back and watch those, like any of those, and
yeah.
have a decent time. Like, there's a reason I bought the frickin' the remake of Battle for Bikini Bottom and and like platinumed it.
Yeah. No,
just because that era is nostalgic.
The classic era.
But there was a couple more shows from that era of Nickelodeon around that point, because we also Fairly Odd Parents was around there too.
Yes.
And I mean that was a classic for many years. Oh yeah,
we loved Fairly Odd Parents
before Butch Hartman lost his mind.
Yes. Yeah.
And there was also Chalk Zone is probably the one that I think is the most underrated.
I think Chalk Zone was it got cut short way too soon. That show was so good.
It got canceled after its second season, but then they still released like the third, but it was weird how they handled that show.
Yeah.
But that one had like the coolest like art style and like idea, like
it was so unique and like so fun and different. I remember that. I remember being really sad when that got canceled. I remember being so sad.
I remember the TV movie for that one too, because it was like this like weird virus where it was causing them all to inflate, and they had to like go on this journey to go find it like a cure. It was really dark. It was surprisingly good though.
Yeah.
Oh, the most 90s Nickelodeon show. I can't believe I forgot about this. Rocket Power.
Yeah, I was gonna mention Rocket Power.
Rocket Power. Honestly, as a show, it's not actually that great.
No, it wasn't that great of a show.
The show itself wasn't that great, but just the whole show itself is nostalgic. Tito was the best character in the show.
Yes.
Uncle Tito, Cousin Tito, Uncle Tito, whatever his name was.
Yeah.
And I remember the dramatic TV movies. Like when they went to New Zealand, and it was like the trailers were super dramatic for no reason.
Oh yeah, well they had to make it that.
You know what I loved? You know what I loved about Nickelodeon though?
What?
Back then, they had so many different like teams making shows for them. Every show felt super different.
Yeah.
Like even like in the classics, you had like the Claspy Kutsko shows. Like you had Rugrats and Our Real Monsters. Mm-hmm. Then you had Rocko's Modern Life, which was its own style. Then you had Hey Arnold, which was an entirely own unique style.
It was also different.
And then you go years later, and you get like the Butch Hartman style. You get Steven Hillenburg, like SpongeBob. It's like Nickelodeon had like so many different distinct creators, and I think that's their problem, is they scared off pretty much all of them and banked so heavily on SpongeBob.
Yeah.
And all of Butch Hartman's creations. But Butch Hartman his creations were weird because they never gave, other than Fairly Odd Parents, none of them made it very far other than Danny Phantom.
Yeah. And they cut Danny Phantom too soon. They kept going with that.
They cut that one a bit short. That was probably the last real iconic Nickelodeon show I remember we watched distinctly. That one still pretty much has a very healthy fandom. I'm trying to think of another. My Life as a Teenage Robot was interesting too.
Yeah, that one was very
that
good.
was one of the that was one of the real cartoon shows.
Yeah,
because I remember the original pilot was super weird because it had a very different art style from the actual show.
And they very much changed it, but they changed it for the better, and I think.
Oh yeah, the actual like first episode was so much better than the pilot. That one had a weird release history too, because I remember it got like canceled, but then they still had a bunch of episodes that were like in storage that they released.
I think what happened was like it got canceled like after the movie. Like they had this big movie and then they had those leftover episodes, and I think that's how they released it.
It was weird. Nickelodeon's always been really odd about their shows, other than SpongeBob, which they just won't let die.
Yeah.
To the point where it's become such a...
Well, now there's just a spin-off of Patrick.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't... Yeah.
It's like cursed.
Nickelodeon's a shell of its former self.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean...
Even the live-action shows, too. But I feel like we should do the live-action... Well...
Yeah, that's... we've done a couple. I don't really... Here's the thing about the live-action Nickelodeon shows. You got the Dan Snyder ones. Those are all basically the same thing.
Yeah, no.
They have a very distinct style. Then you have, like, the few outliers. Like, was Zoe 101 a Dan Snyder show?
I believe it was, yeah. I honestly think
I gotta double-check on that, because that one was different.
It was, but I'm pretty certain...
Because you remember how it was always in widescreen?
Yeah. Well, maybe it wasn't, because was Ned's declassified a Dan Snyder?
No, Ned's was definitely not. Okay. No, yeah, Zoe 101 was a Dan Snyder show.
Okay, I thought that one, but Ned's
Which is weird, because that one didn't... Oh, yeah, because remember Drake Bell appeared as a guest star at one point?
Yeah.
As Drake Bell?
Honestly, I'm gonna say it. The best live-action show was Ned's Declassified.
I love
Ned's
Declassified.
That one was my favorite. All the other ones, Drake and Josh was good. All the other ones, they were okay, but, Ned's Declassified.
Oh, wow, they're all grown up now.
No, yeah.
I looked at the picture of the cast, it's like, wow. Yeah, that wasn't that was one of the few non-Dan Schneider shows. And I guess Dan Schneider's a controversial guy now, so I don't want to get super into that.
Yeah, he likes feet, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, is that it?
Well, there was a lot of other things, but
yeah,
one of the big things was that he, everyone's saying he had a foot fetish because he, incorporated feet into a lot of the shows, and if you look back, he did. There was a lot of feet.
See, when I think Dan Schneider, I think Better Off Dead, because he was the guy in Better Off Dead.
Yes. That was one of his first roles.
Ricky, I think? Yeah, Ricky. He was Ricky in Better Off. But anyways, moving on from that.
Yes.
So let's move over to Disney for a bit, because we spent a long time with Toon Disney.
Yes.
Honestly, Cartoon Network was the one that we kind of skipped.
Yeah, no.
We weren't allowed. Something about Cartoon Network didn't fly.
I don't know. I honestly think it had to do with Dexter's Laboratory.
And I think Johnny Bravo, because Johnny Bravo was a...
Yes, that...
A good show, but questionable nowadays.
Toon Disney had some... Well, I feel like, too, we grew up in the era where there was a lot of those Disney shows... Yeah, based off... There was, the Hercules show. There was the, There was...
we watched... There was Hercules, there was Aladdin. Every one of those classics had,
Yeah.
Well, here's the funny one. There was also... Oh, Tarzan, the animated series.
That one was good. The Tarzan one was good.
Most of those held... I gotta go on Disney Plus and see if any of those are on there now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Goof Troop held up well.
Goof Troop was the shit.
Darkwing Duck.
Yes.
Is one of the greatest things ever. That was literally the reason I got Disney Plus, was to watch all those old, Disney cartoons.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you couldn't find them anywhere, and I'm not even a massive Disney fan, to be honest, and I wanted to find those.
Yeah. Do you remember Recess?
Oh yeah, we watched that was weird because that wasn't directly aired on Disney all the time. That was on ABC, I think.
Yeah.
I remember Recess very well. Recess was a good show.
Recess was good. Well, remember the movie? I remember distinctly the movie.
Recess School's Out.
Because
we used to watch that on the last day of school.
But I remember distinctly the soundtrack because the ending
My
credits with Tambourine. I remember that so.
Is it bad that I remember that distinctly?
No, I remember that distinctly as well.
That was a good movie. I gotta see if that's on Disney Plus too. I gotta use Disney Plus more.
If that is, let me know because I want to watch it. Also, give me your Disney Plus account.
I already did. I put it in your TV.
Oh, you did?
Remember we watched The Simpsons?
Oh, okay, sweet. I'm gonna watch that. Oh, remember The Weekenders?
I vaguely remember. I remember that one because it was super goofy. Because the pizza place changed every episode.
Yeah, the pizza place.
I remember that distinctly, and then the main character was all of them were goofs, biggest goofballs, and then of course Disney's most famous show,
Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. No, just kidding.
No, you watched the shit out of Kim Possible.
I did. I loved her. I dressed up as her for Halloween once.
I know you did.
Yeah.
But what's funny about Kim Possible was it actually broke a trend that Disney had, where a show couldn't go over a certain amount of episodes, I guess. Once it hit a certain number, that was it. It was over.
Yeah.
Fans, I guess, were rallied, and that's why it got a fourth season. That's why the fourth season is so different from the first three.
Yeah.
Because it was made after they thought the show was canceled. Because the show was supposed to end with the movie, the TV movie. That one's aged pretty well because you used to watch the shit out of that back in the day.
No, I remember.
And that was one of the. That was one of the few I could tolerate. I was like, okay, this is fine.
Well, one of the reasons it was good too was that it was more it wasn't super it was a kid show, but it was also more mature, I guess you could say. I don't know, it was interesting. And I mean, also, like, I would have to say, like, I liked it too because, like, female lead. Like, there wasn't that many shows that had, like, the main character was, like, a female, you know, and she was kicking ass. So I think it was just cool.
For that time, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of another one. They're really...
Well, the thing is too...
Well, I get Lilo and Stitch, the series, kind of.
That was a good series. I will have to say. Like, because that was actually good because, like, the concept made sense, you know, for a time.
They have to go find all of them.
Yeah, she had to go find... And it was
what
interesting.
I always found funny about that show was... Oh, this was also that weird point where Lilo and Stitch had a crossover with every show imaginable.
Yeah, that was weird.
There was a Kim Possible The Proud Family. Oh my god.
I honestly, like... I remember watching The Proud Family, but, like, I don't remember...
Okay. My favorite thing about The Proud Family was the high school's name was, like, the Willie T. Ribbs, like, high school.
Yeah.
And that is, like, one of the best racing references, like, you could ever do. I will say. Because Willie T. was a badass, but,
You know what I think kills... Like, The Proud Family had, like, this movie, and it just felt so
the
weird.
Peanut People.
Yeah.
The Peanut People.
It just, like...
So, you know what my problem with The Proud Family was?
Like, it didn't fit the show.
Right.
Like, it was weird.
This was my problem with The Proud Family, because this one we watched a lot of, because it was always on.
It was always on.
And it's getting a reboot on Disney+.
Oh, really?
for some reason. But or a revival, not quite a reboot. But the whole theme of that show was about, like, friendship and, like, family and having, like, strong bonds.
Yeah.
But my god, they were, like, so quick to fucking bail on each other all the time.
No.
Like, the friends were so flaky in that show, it wasn't even funny.
Yeah.
Like, it was everything. Like, oh, man. Disney had a lot of weird shows.
Disney did. Well, and also I remember Disney went through a ton of shows. Because I remember there was this period of time where they had, like, a whole lot of bad shows.
Oh,
like,
yeah, and then they also had their live-action revolution, like, where it was, like, all live-action shows for a while.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you remember when Cartoon Network tried live-action?
Oh, yeah. That
freaking the Out of Jimmy's Head show or whatever.
Yeah,
That was terrible. I
don't remember any of their live action shows because they were all bad.
I think there was only that one.
Yeah.
Because I think it was that bad. But,
no, they had a couple. They had one where it was like it was like it was kind of like, I guess, what's the show where they do experiments? I'm brain fart. Mythbusters. They kind of had like a Mythbusters show.
Did they?
Yeah, they did. I just remember, but I think it was called Boom Boom Clacks or something.
I'm trying to think of Cartoon Network shows, because honestly, I don't remember anything after the logo change.
Yeah.
Like, I think well, I mean, because obviously when I think Cartoon Network and when I think the shows that held up the best, Codename Kids Next Door.
Yes, obviously.
And Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Yes. Honestly, that's what I was thinking,
both of which I think are on HBO Max now, and I really need to rewatch.
That's what I was thinking. Actually, let me look up Cartoon...
Well, because you remember there was a point where Cartoon Network was, like, farming out all their shows from, like, the Canadian, like...
the Total Drama Island people.
Yeah, those, like, they were just taking all of their shows, because there was the Total Drama...
The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. That was a good show.
That was good, yeah, I remember that. You remember when it was originally, like, a double show with, like, it was, like, originally just, like, like an anthology show called, like, Grim and Evil.
Yeah.
And it would be half the Grim Adventures, and then the other half would be this other show called, like, Evil Concar or something.
Yeah, and it was the brain guy.
It was the brain. It was the brain and the bear.
Yeah, and then they got rid of the brain and the bear.
Well, no, it spun off, and they both became their own shows. But the brain and the bear show didn't last very long. But one of the characters from it, the Scar guy, became a regular on Billy and Mandy. I remember that.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a good one. I remember the later Cartoon Network shows, not quite the classic era, like not really the Jendy Kartakovsky shows, even though those are arguably the best ones.
Yeah.
Because Samurai Jack, yeah, that was a that show got crazy as it went on.
They got a reboot. They did like a reboot.
Yeah, I think they finished the story.
I remember another one that I thought you watched too. I'm like, I'm brain farting on it. I'm like, oh, Teen Titans. That was on.
Oh,
You watched Teen Titans.
Okay, so here's my thing. I don't count that as a Cartoon Network show. That's a DC animated show that just happened to air.
On Cartoon Network.
Because Cartoon Network technically also aired Justice League.
Oh, okay. All right. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, because DC was originally airing their shows on Kids WB, but then Kids WB stopped being a thing, and then they moved over to Cartoon Network. Because Teen Titans was good, but we should do a separate podcast on the superhero shows.
Oh, I found another one. Ed, and Eddie.
Ed, and Eddie was good. Mom did not like that show.
No,
at all.
I think that was another reason why we couldn't watch Cartoon Network.
You ever see the movie?
No, I didn't know it had a movie.
Series. So the series finale was really good.
Oh.
I won't spoil it, but if you ever, it had a really good ending. Basically, let's just say.
All right, I'll give it a watch.
That was it's not on HBO Max though, which sucks.
Aw.
The show is itself, but not the finale.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That happens sometimes. But yeah, that was another classic. Honestly, we could go on for a while. There's another show. There's another show I'm skipping over directly because I feel like we could talk about later. Avatar.
Oh yeah, I feel like we could do a whole podcast on that, so let's not. But also, I think also when we talk about that, we should talk about Code Lyoko.
That's another.
That was kind of similar.
That show.
I feel like we could do a whole podcast on that too. So let's not go into those.
Honestly, I think we can. I think this is probably a good time to cut it off.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we went over the basics of TV. So let's end here.
Yeah.
My whole question. So going back, people always say, the shows from back in the day were better. Yes and no. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think
honestly, I think TV is on par now as it was back then. Because there's a lot of shit on TV now and a lot of good.
Yeah.
And back then, there was a lot of shit and a lot of good. So I think that whole theory of TV was better is bullshit because it's the same. No, it really hasn't changed.
I agree too. And it's also there's some SpongeBob has some great episodes, but then it has the toenail episode, and I hate that. And I hate
the Splinter.
the Splinter. I hate that episode. I think it's the worst episode of SpongeBob that ever aired. I hate it. It's a good show, but that's awful.
Well, I can't tell you anything post movie other than the boot camp, the prison camp episode, but
yeah.
So we didn't even get into adult animation with the Simpsons and Family Guy and stuff.
Oh,
that's a whole nother.
So honestly, I think what we're saying is that we need to do a part 2 of this.
Yeah, at some point, definitely.
Yes.
But that's my stance. And honestly, I'm gonna stick by that because TV I don't think has it's if anything TV's gotten a bit more aware nowadays.
Yeah.
That's where I'll put it. I'm not going to dwell too much into that just to avoid problems. So.
Oh my god.
Tilly?
I just turned around and my cat is being so cute.
Okay.
She's lying on her side and her little belly is showing. Oh, it's so cute.
All right. We've officially lost Alex.
I just turned around because I was like, oh, I wonder where Tilly is. And then I looked and I saw her.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, anyways, guys, I think this is a good time to cut it off. We're definitely going to revisit this topic at some point in the future because there's a lot more to talk about.
I wonder who thought of this topic.
Yeah. Go pat yourself on the back some more. But anyways, guys,
I just pat myself on the back.
I know. But anyways, guys, the Gaming and Collecting Podcast is made on Anchor Podcasts, and you can very easily find us on all your major podcasting platforms, particularly Apple Podcast and Spotify Podcasts. And be sure to if you want to, you can follow us also on Instagram at gaming_and_collecting_podcast, and on Twitter on GNC_podcast.
It just glitched out again, so it was
yeah, okay. Well,
I wish they could hear this. It's great.
They won't because, well, they'll hear your wonderful
I
impression.
know. Yeah.
All right. Well, anyways, guys, thanks once again for joining us as we discuss, this time, the TV shows that shaped us.
Yeah.
We'll see you all later.
See you
Have a good
later.
one, guys.
Bye.
All right. See ya.
Bye.